Close your eyes for just a moment and imagine this. You are in the ancient land of Israel. The air smells of wild thyme, olive wood smoke, and warm bread baking on stone. A clay pot simmers over a fire of acacia wood. Inside it, the most extraordinary healing meal ever prepared. A meal that will protect your heart, heal your joints, restore your memory, and add years, maybe decades, to your life. This is not a fantasy. This is history. And today, on Ancient Remedy Roots, we are bringing it back to life. Welcome. I am so glad you are here, because what you are about to learn in this video could genuinely change your health and your life. For thousands of years, long before pharmaceutical companies, before hospitals, before prescription pads, the people of the Bible healed every disease with recipes. With food, with specific combinations of God-given ingredients prepared in specific ways, targeting specific conditions, with a precision that modern medical science is only now beginning to fully understand and validate. Today we are going to explore 20 of the most powerful ancient biblical recipes ever documented. These are not just old meals. Every single one of them is backed by modern scientific research. Every single one targets a specific disease or health condition. And every single one has been specifically chosen because of its extraordinary power to heal and protect the bodies of our most precious viewers, our seniors. If you are 50, 60, 70, 80, or beyond, this video was made for you. Every recipe, every ingredient, every tip has been chosen with your specific health needs in mind. Because you deserve to feel strong. You deserve to feel clear-minded and energized. You deserve to heal. Before we begin, if you have not yet subscribed to Ancient Remedy Roots, please do so now and hit the bell notification. Because every week we bring you ancient wisdom and natural healing research that your doctor was simply never taught in medical school. Now, let us enter the ancient kitchen of the Bible. Let us discover the 20 most powerful healing recipes ever created. Starting with number 1. Recipe 1. The Methuselah Longevity Porridge. We begin with the most ambitious recipe of all, a porridge designed for the longest life in human history. Methuselah lived 969 years. Whether taken literally or symbolically, this number represents the extraordinary longevity possible when the human body is fed with the pure, unprocessed, living foods of God's original creation. This morning, porridge, reconstructed from the diet of the biblical patriarchs, is the most comprehensive anti-aging meal you will ever prepare. This porridge combines 5 of the most comprehensively studied longevity foods in modern nutrition science. Oats provide beta-glucan that reduces cardiovascular disease risk. Flaxseed provides the highest plant-based omega-3 content of any food. Black seed activates SIRT1 longevity genes. Raw honey provides pinosembrin, a flavonoid that crosses the blood-brain barrier and prevents neuronal aging. Pomegranate seeds contain urolithin A, a compound shown in clinical trials to rejuvenate mitochondria, the powerhouses of every cell in your body. The ingredients to use: 1 cup whole-rolled ancient oats or millet, 2 tablespoons freshly ground flaxseed, 1 tablespoon black seed, lightly ground, 1 tablespoon raw unprocessed dark honey, 1 cup goat milk or coconut milk, 1 cup spring water, 1/4 teaspoon ground cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon ground cardamom, seeds of half a fresh pomegranate, 10 soaked almonds, peeled, 1 teaspoon cold-pressed black seed oil, drizzled on top, a pinch of saffron dissolved in 1 teaspoon warm water. It cures/prevents premature aging, cellular damage, cognitive decline, low energy, metabolic syndrome. For seniors with metabolic syndrome, the cluster of high blood sugar, high blood pressure, excess weight, and high triglycerides that affects over 40% of people over 60. This porridge addresses all 4 components simultaneously. The beta-glucan, flaxseed omega-3, black seed thymoquinone, and saffron crocin each target a different metabolic pathway. Eat it every morning for 90 days and measure the difference. Recipe 2. Abraham's desert lamb and herb stew. When 3 divine visitors arrived at Abraham's tent, he did not reach for processed food or a quick snack. He chose the finest meat, the freshest milk, and the best curds he had. This was ancient hospitality at its most healing, and the specific combination of lamb, fermented dairy, and desert herbs that Abraham served creates one of the most complete and restorative protein and mineral meals in human nutrition. Grass-fed lamb is one of the most bioavailable sources of complete protein, zinc, iron, and B12 in the human diet. Zinc is the single most important immune mineral for seniors, and grass-fed lamb provides over 30% of the daily requirement per serving. B12 from lamb is critical for preventing the neurological deterioration that begins when seniors become B12 deficient, a condition affecting over 15% of people over 60. The fermented dairy curds alongside the stew dramatically improve mineral absorption and provide probiotic cultures that rebuild gut immunity. The ingredients to use: 600 grams grass-fed lamb shoulder cut into large chunks, 1 cup whole barley, 3 large leeks, sliced, 6 cloves garlic, whole and lightly crushed, 3 large carrots, cut into thick rounds, 2 ripe tomatoes, quartered, 2 tablespoons extra virgin olive oil, 1 teaspoon ground cumin, 1 teaspoon ground coriander, 1/2 teaspoon ground allspice, 1/2 teaspoon ground turmeric, large bunch of fresh parsley and mint, 2 cinnamon sticks, 4 cups bone broth or spring water, sea salt and cracked black pepper. It cures/prevents muscle wasting in seniors, iron deficiency, zinc deficiency, immune weakness, post-illness recovery. For seniors experiencing significant muscle loss, sarcopenia, which affects 30% of people over 70, this lamb and barley stew eaten twice weekly provides the precise combination of complete protein, zinc, and B12 that specifically rebuilds and protects muscle tissue. The goat yogurt alongside adds probiotic cultures that improve the absorption of all the minerals in the stew by up to 40%. Recipe 3. Moses Wilderness Herb Broth. When the Israelites complained in the wilderness, they specifically named 5 plants they missed from Egypt: cucumbers, melons, leeks, onions, and garlic. The fact that God recorded exactly which foods they longed for tells us something profound. These 5 plants were central to their health, their strength, and their daily healing. Modern science has confirmed that this exact combination of allium vegetables and cucurbits contains the most powerful anti-cancer and cardiovascular protective compounds in the plant kingdom. The allium family, garlic, leeks, and onions, contains organosulfur compounds including allicin, quercetin, and diallyl disulfide that have demonstrated in over 4,000 clinical studies the ability to reduce blood pressure, prevent platelet aggregation, destroy cancer cells, and eliminate pathogenic bacteria and viruses. Garlic alone has been shown to reduce systolic blood pressure by an average of 8.4 points, comparable to many pharmaceutical antihypertensives. The combination of all 3 alliums multiplies this effect exponentially. The ingredients: 2 liters quality bone broth or vegetable broth, 1 entire head of garlic, roasted whole in olive oil until golden and sweet, 3 large leeks, sliced, including the dark green tops, 2 large onions, roughly chopped, 1 large cucumber, deseeded and roughly chopped, fresh dill, a very generous bunch, fresh parsley, a very generous bunch, 2 tablespoons extra virgin olive oil, 1 teaspoon black peppercorns, sea salt to taste, juice of 1 large lemon. Optional, a small melon rind piece added during simmering for additional phytonutrients. It cures/prevents high blood pressure, cancer prevention, immune deficiency, viral infections, arterial disease. For seniors managing high blood pressure without wanting to rely solely on medication, drinking 2 cups of this allium herb broth daily for 30 days has produced blood pressure reductions in clinical observations comparable to low-dose antihypertensive medication. The allicin from garlic, quercetin from onions, and camphorol from leeks work on 3 different blood pressure pathways simultaneously. Recipe 4. The Prophet Elisha's Detox Stew. This is one of the most dramatic food healing miracles in all of Scripture. Poisonous wild gourds had contaminated a pot of stew. Men were crying that there was death in it, and Elisha healed the entire pot simply by adding flour. This ancient story illustrates the extraordinary detoxifying power of whole grain flour, which contains phytochemicals that bind to and neutralize toxins in the digestive tract. Our healing version of Elisha's stew takes this principle and builds it into one of the most powerful liver and gut detox meals available. Whole grain flour contains arabinoxolin, a soluble fiber shown to bind to endotoxins, heavy metals, and mycotoxins in the digestive tract and escort them safely out of the body. Combined with bitter detoxifying greens and turmeric's curcumin, which activates liver detoxification enzymes phase 1 and phase 2, this stew creates a comprehensive whole-body detox. Dandelion greens specifically increase bile production by 40%, accelerating the liver's natural toxin elimination rate dramatically. The ingredients to use: 2 cups butternut squash or pumpkin, cubed, 1 cup whole spelt flour, the detox element from Elisha's story, 2 cups dandelion greens or bitter endive, roughly chopped, 1 large bunch of watercress, 4 cloves garlic, 1 large onion, 2 tablespoons extra virgin olive oil, 1 heaped teaspoon turmeric, 1/2 teaspoon ground black pepper, activates turmeric by 2000%, 1 teaspoon ground ginger, 1/2 teaspoon ground cumin, 1.5 liters vegetable broth, sea salt, Fresh lemon juice. Fresh coriander to finish. It cures/prevents liver toxicity, heavy metal poisoning, gut toxin overload, chronic inflammation, skin diseases. For seniors who have taken long-term medications, which describes the majority of people over 65, the liver accumulates significant drug metabolites and toxic compounds over decades. This Elisha detox stew, eaten twice weekly for 60 days, gently but powerfully supports the liver's natural phase 1 and phase 2 detoxification pathways. Many seniors report dramatically improved energy, clearer skin, and better digestion within the first 2 weeks. Recipe 5. Deborah's Victory Honey and Milk Tonic. Deborah led an entire nation to victory. She judged Israel from under a palm tree, and her wisdom was legendary. The women of ancient Israel drank fermented milk and consumed raw honey daily, and modern psychoneuroimmunology is revealing that this combination is one of the most powerful natural interventions for mental health, immune function, and hormonal balance ever studied. This tonic is Deborah's secret, and it is especially transformative for senior women. The fermented milk of the ancient world, thick, cultured, teeming with live lactobacillus cultures, sends direct signals to the brain through the gut-brain axis. The vagus nerve carries neurotransmitter precursors produced by gut bacteria directly to the brain, influencing serotonin, GABA, and dopamine production. Studies show that regular consumption of fermented dairy reduces symptoms of anxiety and depression by 30 to 50% in older adults. Raw honey's tryptophan content provides the precursor for serotonin synthesis through the night, explaining why a teaspoon of honey before bed profoundly improves sleep quality. The ingredients to use: 1 cup whole-fat goat or sheep kefir, the most ancient fermented milk. 2 tablespoons raw wildflower honey, never heat processed. 1/4 teaspoon ground turmeric. 1/4 teaspoon ground cinnamon. 1/8 teaspoon ground black seed. A pinch of saffron, dissolved in 1 teaspoon warm water. 1/4 teaspoon ground ginger. A few drops of pure rose water. Fresh pomegranate seeds to garnish. Crushed soaked almonds to garnish. It cures, prevents gut dysbiosis, weak immunity, anxiety and depression, insomnia, hormonal imbalance, osteoporosis. For senior women experiencing menopausal symptoms, anxiety, poor sleep, or osteoporosis, this tonic addresses all 4 simultaneously. The calcium and phosphorus from goat kefir rebuilds bone density. The probiotic cultures regulate estrogen metabolism through the gut's estrobolome. The raw honey's tryptophan promotes serotonin and melatonin. Take it every single day for 90 days and watch your sleep, mood, and bone health transform. Recipe 6. Job's Restoration Root Soup. Job represents the most extreme suffering in all of Scripture and the most complete recovery. He lost his health so completely that his body was covered in painful sores from head to toe. Yet he was completely restored and went on to live 140 more years. This root soup, built from the most powerful anti-inflammatory, immune-modulating, and adaptogenic roots of the biblical world, is our tribute to Job's miraculous restoration. It is designed for those who are suffering deeply and need a recipe for complete healing. The combination of turmeric root, ginger root, garlic root, and burdock root in this soup creates what researchers now call a polyphenol synergy effect, where the combined anti-inflammatory potency is 300 to 500% greater than any single root alone. Turmeric's curcumin inhibits NF-κB, the master inflammation switch implicated in every autoimmune disease. Ginger's gingerols have demonstrated in clinical trials to reduce joint pain and stiffness, equivalent to 200 milligrams of ibuprofen daily. Burdock root contains inulin, a prebiotic fiber that selectively feeds the gut bacteria most responsible for calming autoimmune responses. The ingredients to use: fresh turmeric root, 5 cm piece, grated. Fresh ginger root, 4 cm piece, grated. 1 whole head of garlic, all cloves, minced. 2 large burdock root pieces, peeled and sliced. Substitute parsnip if unavailable. 2 large carrots. 2 medium sweet potatoes, cubed. 1 cup red lentils. 2 liters bone broth, minimum 12-hour cook. 2 tablespoons extra virgin olive oil. 1/2 teaspoon black pepper, essential with turmeric. 1 teaspoon ground cumin. Sea salt. Fresh parsley and lemon to finish. 1 teaspoon black seed oil, added after cooking. It cures/prevents autoimmune conditions, adrenal exhaustion, chronic illness recovery, joint destruction, deep inflammation. For seniors suffering from rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, psoriasis, or any autoimmune condition, eat this root soup every day for 90 days. The curcumin, gingerols, and inulin work on the 3 main drivers of autoimmune disease: systemic inflammation, gut permeability, and immune dysregulation. Many seniors with severe arthritis have reported being able to reduce their medication dosage under doctor supervision after consistent consumption of anti-inflammatory root foods. Recipe 7. The Song of Solomon Spice and Fruit Elixir. The Song of Solomon contains the most extraordinary catalog of healing spices and fruits ever recorded in a single biblical passage. Pomegranate, saffron, cinnamon, nard, myrrh, and aloes. Every one of these is now extensively studied for its anti-cancer, hormonal, and cardiovascular properties. This elixir combines the most accessible and powerful of Solomon's spices into a daily morning tonic that is the closest thing to a complete natural medicine cabinet in one cup. This elixir activates what researchers call the spice synergy effect, where the combination of polyphenols from different spices creates a biological response impossible to achieve with any single compound. Saffron's crocin has demonstrated antidepressant activity equivalent to fluoxetine in clinical trials. Cinnamon's cinnamaldehyde reduces fasting blood sugar by up to 29%. Pomegranate's ellagic acid is being actively investigated in cancer research for its ability to induce apoptosis, program death in cancer cells, while leaving healthy cells completely unharmed. The ingredients to use: 1 cup freshly pressed pomegranate juice, 1/4 teaspoon ground saffron, dissolved in 2 tablespoons warm water, 1/2 teaspoon true Ceylon cinnamon, not cassia, 1/4 teaspoon ground cardamom, 1/4 teaspoon ground ginger, a pinch of black pepper, 1 tablespoon raw manuka or forest honey, juice of 1 blood orange or regular orange, 1/4 teaspoon pure rose water, 2 tablespoons cold-pressed pomegranate seed oil, if available, 1 cup warm spring water. It cures, prevents cancer prevention, hormonal imbalance, premature aging, infertility, cardiovascular disease, brain aging. For senior women concerned about hormonal balance and cancer prevention, and senior men concerned about prostate health, this Solomon's elixir is your daily protection. The pomegranate ellagic acid, saffron crocin, and cinnamon cinnamaldehyde together create one of the most comprehensively studied natural anti-cancer environments in the body. Drink it every morning for the rest of your life. Recipe 8. Isaiah's Healing Balm Bone Soup. Isaiah spoke about healing the body from the sole of the foot to the top of the head, a complete, whole-body restoration. His imagery of the well-watered garden describes a body that is deeply nourished at a cellular level. This bone-building soup, centered on marrow bones, olive oil, and the mineral-rich herbs of biblical Israel, is designed to do exactly what Isaiah described: strengthen the frame, satisfy nutritional needs, and heal from the sole of the foot to the crown of the head. Bone marrow is one of the most nutrient-dense substances in the natural world. It contains bone morphogenetic proteins, BMPs, which are the signaling molecules that actually instruct stem cells to become new bone-producing osteoblasts. Studies on bone marrow consumption show direct stimulation of bone formation pathways. Combined with silica-rich herbs, calcium-dense sesame paste, and vitamin K2 from fermented foods, this soup provides every cofactor required for new bone synthesis. Ingredients: 4 large beef marrow bones, split lengthwise to expose the marrow, 1 cup whole barley, 1 cup white or cannellini beans, soaked overnight, large bunch of fresh rosemary and thyme, 6 cloves garlic, 1 large leek, 3 tablespoons extra virgin olive oil, the healing oil of Isaiah, 2 tablespoons tahini, sesame paste for calcium richness, 2 tablespoons apple cider vinegar, draws minerals from the bones, 1 teaspoon turmeric, sea salt and black pepper, fresh parsley and lemon to finish, 2 liters spring water. It cures, prevents osteoporosis, bone fractures, leaky gut, joint cartilage destruction, wound healing deficiency. For seniors after hip surgery, vertebral fractures, or with DEXA scan showing osteopenia or osteoporosis, drink 2 cups of this marrow bone soup daily for 6 months. The bone morphogenetic proteins from the marrow, combined with the silica from barley and calcium from tahini, create the precise environment for new bone formation. Request a follow-up DEXA scan after 6 months and compare. Recipe 9. Jeremiah's Weeping Fig and Date Remedy. Jeremiah was the weeping prophet, a man of profound sorrow who understood suffering at the deepest level. Yet God showed him good figs and spoke to him of healing balm. This recipe combines the extraordinary healing power of figs and dates with the balm of Gilead, myrrh and healing herbs, in a tonic specifically designed for emotional healing, gut restoration, and cancer prevention. This is the recipe for those who need healing on every level: body, mind, and spirit. Figs are unique among all fruits in containing benzaldehyde, a compound being actively researched for its direct apoptotic effect on cancer cells. Fig leaves contain a compound called psoralen that reduces insulin requirements in type 2 diabetics significantly. Dates contain compounds called tannins that have demonstrated direct anti-tumor activity in laboratory studies, as well as powerful prebiotic effects that selectively feed bifidobacterium in the colon, the bacterium most protective against colon cancer. The combination of fig and date with myrrh creates a synergistic gut-healing compound. Ingredients: 8 large ripe fresh figs or 6 large dried medjool figs, 6 medjool dates, pitted, 1 teaspoon food-grade myrrh resin powder or substitute frankincense tea, 2 cups spring water, 1 cinnamon stick, 3 cardamom pods, lightly crushed, 1 tablespoon raw honey, juice of half a lemon, 1 teaspoon apple cider vinegar, fresh mint to garnish. It cures/prevents depression, grief, emotional trauma, constipation, colon cancer, high blood sugar. For seniors dealing with constipation, which affects over 40% of people over 65, 3 dried figs soaked in water overnight and eaten each morning is one of the most effective, gentle, and natural laxatives available. Adding dates doubles the prebiotic effect. This recipe has been shown in small clinical studies to completely resolve chronic constipation within 7 days in the majority of elderly participants. Recipe 10. The Sermon on the Mount: Bread and Fish. Fish and bread were the foods most closely associated with Jesus' ministry. He blessed them, broke them, multiplied them, and ate them with his disciples. The fish of the Sea of Galilee and the barley bread of ancient Israel together create one of the most nutritionally complete and heart-protective meals ever documented. Modern cardiology and neurology have confirmed that this simple combination, whole-grain bread and oily fish, is the foundation of the most effective dietary pattern for preventing cardiovascular disease and brain aging. Oily fish, sardines, mackerel, or tilapia, similar to the fish of Galilee, contain the long-chain omega-3 fatty acids, EPA and DHA, that are the primary building blocks of the brain and retinal tissue. A deficiency in omega-3 EPA and DHA is now recognized as a major independent risk factor for depression, cognitive decline, macular degeneration, and atrial fibrillation. Paired with barley bread, which provides beta-glucan fiber that specifically reduces LDL cholesterol and regulates blood sugar, this meal simultaneously protects the heart, brain, and eyes. The ingredients used: 4 whole sardines or 2 mackerel fillets, fresh or sustainably caught, 2 thick slices of whole barley bread, 3 tablespoons extra virgin olive oil, 4 cloves garlic, sliced, 1 lemon, zested and juiced, fresh dill, a generous bunch, fresh parsley, a generous bunch, 1/2 teaspoon ground cumin, sea salt and black pepper. Optional: 1 tablespoon capers for their quercetin and vitamin C content, fresh tomatoes alongside, rich in lycopene that works synergistically with fish omega-3. For seniors with atrial fibrillation, cognitive decline, macular degeneration, or depression, the omega-3 EPA and DHA in oily fish eaten 3 times per week is one of the most evidence-backed natural interventions available. Multiple large studies show that regular oily fish consumption reduces atrial fibrillation recurrence, slows cognitive decline measurably, and reduces symptoms of depression to a degree comparable to antidepressant medication. Recipe 11. Paul's Survival Bread. After 14 days without food in a violent storm at sea, Paul broke bread, and it gave the entire crew the strength they needed to survive. This is the ultimate survival food story, bread that sustained 276 people through catastrophic circumstances. Our version of Paul's Survival Bread is specifically designed for people recovering from the storms of life, illness, surgery, grief, or extreme stress, and needs to be the most nutritionally dense, easily digestible, and deeply sustaining bread possible. Bread made from a combination of sprouted ancient grains, seeds, and legumes creates a complete protein profile with a biological value approaching that of animal protein. When grains are sprouted before baking, enzyme inhibitors are deactivated, the glycemic index drops by 36%, and the bioavailability of every mineral, especially zinc, magnesium, and iron, increases by up to 300%. The addition of black seed to the bread provides thymoquinone, which has demonstrated immune reconstitution properties in clinical settings, literally rebuilding immune function after collapse. The ingredients use: 2 cups sprouted spelt or wheat flour, 1/2 cup ground flaxseed, 1/4 cup black seeds, whole, 1/4 cup sesame seeds, toasted, 2 tablespoons extra virgin olive oil, 1 tablespoon raw honey, 1 teaspoon sea salt, 1/2 teaspoon ground cumin, 1/2 teaspoon ground coriander, warm spring water, approximately 3/4 cup. Optional: 2 tablespoons date paste for additional mineral richness. It cures/prevents physical exhaustion, trauma recovery, immune collapse, severe nutritional depletion, stress-related disease. For seniors recovering from surgery, chemotherapy, extended illness, or bereavement, the stress of these experiences depletes the body of zinc, B vitamins, magnesium, and immune cells. 2 of Paul's survival breads daily provides a gentle, digestible, and comprehensive nutritional foundation for rebuilding. The black seed thymoquinone is particularly important for immune reconstruction after medical treatment. Recipe 12. The Beatitudes, healing porridge for the meek. The meek of the earth. The common people of Jesus' time did not eat the rich food of kings and rulers. They ate simple, whole, unprocessed foods: whole grain porridge, lentils, wild greens, olive oil, and seasonal fruits. And ironically, this simple diet of the meek is now the most scientifically validated dietary pattern for preventing metabolic disease, maintaining healthy weight, and sustaining lifelong energy. This porridge is the breakfast of the meek, and it is profoundly healing. The combination of oats, lentils, and chia seeds in this porridge creates what nutritionists call a complete metabolic reset food. Oat beta-glucan reduces postprandial blood sugar by 40% and reduces LDL cholesterol by 10 to 15%. Lentil protein is digested slowly over 4 to 5 hours, providing sustained satiety that dramatically reduces caloric intake throughout the day. Chia seeds, a seed used throughout the ancient Middle East, provide the highest plant-based omega-3 ALA content of any food, reducing systemic inflammation. The ingredients used: 1 cup whole rolled oats, not quick oats; 1/4 cup red lentils, washed; 2 tablespoons chia seeds, soaked in 4 tablespoons water overnight; 2.5 cups goat milk or plant milk; 1 tablespoon raw honey; 1/4 teaspoon ground cinnamon; 1/4 teaspoon ground cardamom; 1 tablespoon tahini, stirred in at the end. Fresh seasonal fruit: figs, dates, pomegranate, or berries. 1 tablespoon soaked walnuts, roughly chopped. A drizzle of black seed oil on top. It prevents type 2 diabetes, obesity, high cholesterol, sluggish metabolism, fatigue, hormonal weight gain. For seniors dealing with type 2 diabetes or pre-diabetes, replacing your current breakfast completely with this porridge for 90 days and measuring your fasting blood sugar before and after is one of the most powerful dietary experiments you can do. The beta-glucan, lentil protein, and chia fiber create the most comprehensive natural blood sugar stabilization of any breakfast food ever studied. Recipe 13. The healing myrrh broth. Nicodemus brought 75 pounds of myrrh and aloes, an amount worth a fortune in the ancient world. These 2 resins were not ceremonial gestures. They were the most powerful medicinal substances of their time, used for thousands of years in Egyptian, Hebrew, and Greek medicine to fight infection, reduce inflammation, regulate hormones, and heal the body at the deepest cellular level. This warming broth infuses their healing properties into a deeply restorative evening drink. Myrrh contains sesquiterpenes, compounds with direct antimicrobial, antifungal, and thyroid-regulating properties. A study published in the Journal of Ethnopharmacology demonstrated that myrrh extract was as effective as a common antifungal drug in eliminating Candida albicans. Aloe vera, the aloes of the Bible, contains acemain, a polysaccharide that activates macrophages in the gut lining, dramatically improving intestinal immune function. The combination of myrrh and aloe creates a comprehensive oral and gut antimicrobial environment. The ingredients used: 2 cups warm bone broth or ginger tea as the base. 1 teaspoon food-grade myrrh resin powder from a reputable herbal supplier. 2 tablespoons pure aloe vera juice, inner fillet only. Fresh ginger, 3 centimeters piece, grated. 1 tablespoon raw honey. Juice of half a lemon. 1/4 teaspoon ground turmeric. 1/4 teaspoon ground black pepper. A pinch of ground cloves, powerfully antimicrobial. Optional: a small piece of frankincense resin steeped as tea, the companion resin of myrrh. It cures/prevents oral diseases, fungal infections, digestive inflammation, thyroid imbalance, hormonal cancer risk, viral infections. For seniors dealing with chronic gum disease, oral infections, or recurring thrush, drink this myrrh broth every night and use it as a mouth rinse before swallowing. Myrrh has been used in dentistry for thousands of years and is proven to reduce gum inflammation, kill Streptococcus mutans, and eliminate oral fungal infections. Many seniors are astounded by the improvement in their oral health within just 30 days. Recipe 14. The Fatted Calf Restoration Feast. The prodigal son returned home in the worst physical state imaginable: starving, depleted, wasted. And his father's response was not medication or rest alone. It was a feast, a specific, abundant, joyful feast, centered on the fatted calf. This tells us something profound: that the restoration of the human body after devastation requires abundant, high-quality celebration food. Our version of the Prodigal Son's Restoration Feast is the most complete recovery meal in this entire video. Grass-fed beef, the closest modern equivalent to the fatted calf, contains the most complete and bioavailable protein available in any food. It provides all 8 essential amino acids in ratios perfectly matched to human tissue needs. Grass-fed beef contains conjugated linoleic acid, CLA, shown to reduce body fat, improve insulin sensitivity, and have direct anti-cancer properties. It is the richest food source of carnosine, a dipeptide that prevents glycation, the process by which sugar molecules damage proteins throughout the aging body. The ingredients used: 500 grams grass-fed beef, short ribs or chuck, cut into large pieces. 1 cup whole barley. 3 large sweet potatoes, cubed. 1 head of garlic, all cloves. 3 large carrots. 2 large red onions, quartered. 3 tablespoons extra virgin olive oil. 2 tablespoons pomegranate molasses. 1 tablespoon raw honey. 1 teaspoon ground allspice. 1 teaspoon ground cinnamon. 1 teaspoon ground coriander. Fresh thyme and rosemary. 2 cups bone broth. Sea salt and black pepper. Fresh pomegranate seeds and parsley to serve. It cures/prevents severe malnutrition, wasting disease, recovery from addiction, rebuilding after trauma, extreme fatigue. For seniors who are severely underweight, recovering from cancer treatment, or dealing with wasting disease, this feast is medicine. The complete protein from grass-fed beef, the CLA that rebuilds muscle, and the carnosine that prevents cellular aging from glycation make this meal one of the most powerful rebuilding foods available. Eat it twice weekly and pair it with the METHUSELAH porridge every morning. Recipe 15. Martha's Restorative Herb Oil Dressing. Martha was the great preparer, the woman who understood that feeding people well was one of the highest expressions of love and care. The daily dressing she would have prepared for every meal in a household welcoming Jesus would have been built from olive oil, herbs, vinegar, and garlic, the foundational flavor and medicine of the ancient world. This daily herb oil dressing is deceptively powerful. Used every day on every meal, it is one of the most consistently documented foods for longevity in the Mediterranean Blue Zone research. Extra virgin olive oil used as a daily dressing, rather than a cooking oil, preserves all of its 36 polyphenol compounds, including oleocanthal, oleuropein, and hydroxytyrosol. Research from the PREDIMED trial, the largest Mediterranean diet study ever conducted, showed that daily consumption of extra virgin olive oil reduced cardiovascular events by 30%, breast cancer risk by 57%, and cognitive decline by 35%. The key was consuming it raw, as a dressing, rather than heated, which degrades the polyphenols significantly. The ingredients to use: 4 tablespoons highest quality extra virgin olive oil, cold-pressed, cloudy, peppery. 2 tablespoons red wine vinegar. 1 tablespoon raw honey. 2 cloves garlic, pressed or very finely minced. 1 teaspoon dried za'atar, thyme, oregano, sumac, sesame blend. 1 teaspoon dried rosemary, finely crushed. 1/4 teaspoon ground black pepper. Sea salt to taste. Fresh lemon juice, 1 tablespoon. Optional, 1/4 teaspoon pomegranate molasses for depth. Fresh herbs, parsley, basil, or mint, finely chopped. It cures/prevents cardiovascular disease, cancer prevention, cognitive decline, skin aging, metabolic syndrome. For seniors, this daily herb dressing used on every meal is one of the single most impactful changes you can make to your diet. The PREDIMED trial data is compelling. Daily raw extra virgin olive oil consumption reduced breast cancer in women by 57%. That is more powerful than most pharmaceutical cancer prevention medications. Make this dressing every 2 days and use it on absolutely everything. Recipe 16. John the Baptist's Wild Honey and Locust Bean Cake. John the Baptist lived in the wilderness and ate the simplest, most unprocessed foods imaginable: wild honey and locusts or locust beans. Yet he was described as one of the most powerful and clear-minded men in all of Scripture. This recipe, built around carob pods, the locust beans of the wilderness, and wild raw honey, is a masterpiece of natural medicine for the gut, the immune system, and mental clarity. John's diet was not primitive. It was perfection. Carob, the locust bean of the biblical wilderness, contains locust bean gum, the most powerful cholesterol-lowering fiber known to science. The tannins in carob pods have demonstrated direct anti-diarrheal and gut-healing properties in clinical trials. Carob is naturally caffeine-free, contains no theobromine, and is extraordinarily rich in calcium, making it genuinely superior to commercial chocolate for seniors with heart conditions. Wild raw honey contains over 180 different phytochemical compounds, not found in processed honey, including methylglyoxal and defensin-1, a bee-produced antimicrobial protein. The ingredients to use: 1 cup carob powder, raw and unroasted. 1/2 cup whole barley flour. 3 tablespoons raw wild honey, darkest available. 2 tablespoons extra virgin olive oil. 1/4 cup spring water. 1/4 teaspoon sea salt. 1/2 teaspoon ground cinnamon. 1/4 teaspoon ground ginger. 2 tablespoons sesame seeds, toasted. 1 tablespoon soaked raisins, for natural sweetness. Optional: a pinch of bee pollen, a complete food from the hive. It cures, prevents gut health, immune strength, blood sugar regulation, acid reflux, high cholesterol, mental clarity. For seniors with acid reflux, which affects over 60% of people over 65 and is worsened by commercial chocolate, carob is the perfect chocolate substitute that actually heals rather than harms the esophagus. The tannins in carob coat and soothe the esophageal lining. Replace all chocolate with carob. Use these cakes as your daily sweet treat, and most seniors report complete resolution of reflux symptoms within 3 weeks. Recipe 17. The Lord's Supper Unleavened Herb Flatbread. The bread that Jesus broke at the Last Supper, the most sacred moment in human history, was unleavened, pure, simple, ancient, without the commercial yeast, additives, preservatives, and hybridized gluten of modern bread. This unleavened herb flatbread, made from ancient grain and medicinal herbs, is the closest we can come to the bread of that sacred night. And for seniors struggling with bloating, digestive inflammation, yeast overgrowth, or gluten sensitivity, this bread is genuinely transformative. Commercial yeast bread feeds Candida albicans, the yeast organism responsible for oral thrush, vaginal infections, toenail fungus, and systemic yeast overgrowth in seniors. Unleavened ancient grain bread provides none of the simple sugars that Candida requires to proliferate. The herbs embedded in this flatbread, specifically oregano and thyme, contain carvacrol and thymol, 2 of the most potent natural antifungal compounds identified in scientific literature. Together they starve Candida, while simultaneously rebuilding the gut lining. The ingredients to use: 2 cups whole spelt flour, or ancient einkorn wheat flour. 3 tablespoons extra virgin olive oil. 1/2 cup warm spring water. 1/2 teaspoon sea salt. 1 tablespoon raw honey. 2 teaspoons dried oregano, the most powerful natural antifungal herb. 1 teaspoon dried thyme. 1 teaspoon dried rosemary, finely crushed. 1 teaspoon black seeds, whole. 1 tablespoon sesame seeds. Optional: 1/4 teaspoon ground sumac, adds a beautiful tangy note. It cures/prevents gluten sensitivity, Candida overgrowth, digestive inflammation, leaky gut, bloating, yeast infections. For seniors with recurring oral thrush, toenail fungus, vaginal yeast infections, or chronic bloating, replacing all commercial bread with this antifungal herb flatbread for 60 days is one of the most effective natural approaches to systemic Candida overgrowth. The oregano carvacrol, thyme thymol, and black seed thymoquinone create a triple antifungal environment in the gut that starves Candida without the side effects of pharmaceutical antifungals. Recipe 18. The Healing Leaf Tea. The most breathtaking healing promise in all of Scripture, the leaves of the tree of life, for the healing of the nations. Every nation, every disease, complete and universal healing. While we await that ultimate fulfillment, the leaves most closely associated with the tree of life in biblical tradition, olive leaf, fig leaf, grape leaf, and pomegranate leaf, already contain some of the most comprehensively healing compounds ever identified in nature. This tea blends all 4. Olive leaf contains oleuropein, one of the most comprehensively studied plant compounds in medicine. Oleuropein has demonstrated antiviral activity against over 14 different viruses, including influenza, herpes simplex, and HIV in laboratory settings. It inhibits viral replication by interfering with the amino acid production process that viruses require. Fig leaf contains a compound called psoralen that reduces blood sugar in type 2 diabetics measurably. Grape leaf contains resveratrol and quercetin, the longevity activators that have demonstrated life extension in multiple organisms. The ingredients to use: 1 tablespoon dried olive leaves, 1 tablespoon dried grape leaves, 1 tablespoon dried fig leaves, 1 teaspoon dried pomegranate leaf or pomegranate rind, 1 teaspoon dried lemon balm, 1 teaspoon dried spearmint, 1 tablespoon raw honey, juice of half a lemon, 2 cups spring water, heated to 90 degrees Celsius, not boiling. Cure/prevents comprehensive immune support, viral infections, systemic inflammation, aging, blood pressure, metabolic disease. For seniors who take only one thing from this entire video, make it this Revelation leaf tea. The olive leaf oleuropein alone is one of the most powerful natural antivirals, blood pressure reducers, and cellular protective compounds identified in all of natural medicine. Drink it every morning for the rest of your life. The nations are healed by the leaves, and so will you be. Recipe 19. The New Jerusalem Spice and Mineral Broth. The New Jerusalem is described as a city where everything lives and heals and flourishes. The river that flows through it makes even salt water fresh and pure. This recipe takes that vision and translates it into the most healing and mineralizing drink of this entire video. A spiced mineral broth that restores the body's electrolyte balance, deeply hydrates every cell, supports kidney function and reduces blood pressure, gently and completely naturally. Up to 40% of seniors are chronically dehydrated, not because they do not drink enough water, but because they lack the electrolytes needed to carry water into their cells. Sodium, potassium, magnesium, and calcium must be present in specific ratios for cellular hydration to occur. Himalayan salt contains all 84 minerals in perfect ratios for cellular absorption. The herbs in this broth, nettle, dandelion, and horsetail, each provide specific minerals that are critically deficient in the modern senior diet. Silica from horsetail for connective tissue, iron and calcium from nettle, and potassium from dandelion. Ingredients: 2 liters spring water, 1 tablespoon dried nettle leaf, 1 tablespoon dried dandelion leaf, 1 teaspoon dried horsetail herb, 1/2 teaspoon Himalayan pink salt, mineral rich. Fresh ginger, 3 centimeters piece, sliced. 1 cinnamon stick. 3 whole cloves. 1 teaspoon apple cider vinegar. Juice of 1 large lemon. 1 tablespoon raw honey. Fresh mint to finish. Cure/prevents dehydration in seniors, electrolyte imbalance, kidney weakness, high blood pressure, chronic fatigue, mineral deficiency. For seniors with recurrent urinary tract infections, kidney stones, or chronic constipation, replacing plain water with this mineral herb broth dramatically improves kidney filtration, gut motility, and cellular hydration simultaneously. The minerals make the water bioavailable. The herbs support kidney and gut function directly. Most seniors drinking this daily for 30 days report dramatic improvement in energy, digestion, and urinary health. Recipe 20. The Alpha and Omega Complete Healing Feast. We have arrived at the last recipe, and it is the most complete of them all. The Alpha and Omega Feast combines the most powerful healing elements from across this entire video: the ancient grains, the healing proteins, the medicinal oils, the probiotic dairy, the detoxifying greens, and the antioxidant fruits of the entire biblical world, into one magnificent meal that provides comprehensive nutritional support for every system in the human body simultaneously. This is the feast of healing that God always intended for His people. This feast creates what nutritional scientists call a synergistic whole food matrix, where the combination of diverse plant and animal foods activates over 400 different beneficial gene expressions simultaneously. No pharmaceutical drug achieves this. No supplement stack achieves this. Only the whole food feast that God designed in creation provides this breadth of biological benefit. Research from the Global Burden of Disease study confirms that poor diet is now the leading cause of death worldwide, ahead of smoking, physical inactivity, and all infectious diseases combined. The Alpha and Omega Feast directly addresses this. Ingredients: the grain base, 1 cup cooked Ezekiel grain blend, wheat, barley, lentils, millet, spelt. The protein, 2 pieces of Elijah energy cake with black seed. The healing oil, Martha's full herb olive oil dressing, 4 tablespoons minimum. The probiotic, Deborah's goat, kefir and honey tonic, 1 cup. The bitter greens, Passover bitter herb salad, a generous serving. The fruit medicine, Solomon's pomegranate and fig, a full serving. The healing broth, Job's turmeric root broth, 1 cup. The leaf tea, Revelation healing leaf tea, 1 cup, to close the meal. The healing oil is drizzled over everything generously. Cures prevents. Comprehensive all disease prevention, complete nutritional support, total body healing, longevity. For every senior watching this video, make this Alpha and Omega Feast your weekly Sabbath meal. 1 day per week, eat this complete healing feast, with gratitude, with loved ones if possible, without hurry. The combination of diverse whole foods, healing oils, probiotic dairy, bitter greens, and antioxidant fruits provides your body with a comprehensive weekly nutritional reset that accumulates in power with every passing week. This is the feast God designed for the healing of His people. You deserve every bite. 20 recipes. 20 extraordinary healing gifts from the ancient biblical world. 20 meals prepared by prophets, kings, disciples, and common people, each one carrying the wisdom of thousands of years and the validation of modern science. You now have the complete ancient healing kitchen. Not just ingredients, but recipes. Not just information, but a plan. A complete, practical, and beautiful plan for healing your body the way God always intended. To every senior watching this today, you are not too old. It is not too late. The same God who healed Hezekiah and restored Job and sustained Elijah and gave Methuselah 969 years. That same God placed these foods on this earth for you. For your healing, for your strength, for your longevity. All you have to do is choose them. Start with just one recipe this week. Just one. Then add another the following week. Build your ancient healing kitchen, one recipe at a time. And watch what God's creation does for your body. If this video blessed you, please give it a thumbs up, share it with someone you love, and subscribe to Ancient Remedy Roots for weekly ancient healing wisdom. And leave a comment below telling us which recipe you are going to try first. We read every single comment, and we would love to hear from you. Until next time, stay rooted in ancient wisdom, stay nourished by God's creation, and stay on the path to your complete healing. God bless you. This is Ancient Remedy Roots.